episode of Serious Success Stories. I am super, super pumped again because I have a super famous and lovely lady to introduce to you, who is a TEDx speaker, a top female voiceover artist in USA. She is a master storyteller, and now she's also helping people with confidence and communication in her coaching business. And her name is Tasia Valneza. I hope I said that right.
You did a beautiful job, Emmy. Fantastic. Tasia Valneza. Tasia Valneza. It was perfect.
Welcome to the show, sweetheart. You are coming to us from LA, right?
Yes, I'm in LA, and I'm just delighted to be with you. I adore you, and I admire you, and I've enjoyed, watching you and learning from you so long. So it's a gift to be with you.
That is super sweet. It's a gift for me to be with you as well. I have looked at some of your work, some of the movies you have been in, some of the voiceover you have done. So I'm just amazed that you actually accepted my invitation for this interview. I'm super, super happy about it. So I'm just going to ask you, how did you get into acting? How did you get into being a voiceover artist?
Sure. I'd love to share my story because it is an unusual story in that I call myself a recovering actress and a fully functioning voiceover artist, because I used to be an actress and I learned that, after many years, that it was too painful in terms of, so much rejection all the time and always being told. But I started when I was 15 professionally acting. My parents had been actors, and I grew up in New York City, but they weren't anymore. But I knew I had the acting gene right from the get-go, so I knew I wanted to do it. And I was the lead in all the school and camp plays. And then I was discovered by a director, a French director named Louis Malle, a very well-known director, when I was 15, and ended up in a movie. One day I was in a high school play. The next day I was in a movie with Sean Penn and Donald Sutherland. And yeah, that was a crazy story. I was scooping ice cream in New York City one day, and then there was an open call in Backstage newspaper, which is the trade paper. My mother went to the open audition. I said, well, take my picture in case there's the background work. Sometimes I made money doing the extra work. And they had written the wrong age, but it wasn't the internet at the time. So all these ladies were down there. They said, ladies, sorry, you have to go home. There were like 30 ladies. And my mother went to the top. And they said, we're looking for an ingenue, a teenager. My mother puts like, her? And I said, yes, that's what we're looking for. Can she act? My mother said, yes. So I ran down, I auditioned. The next day I flew to Los Angeles. I screen tested with Sean Penn. And then I was in a movie. And then
That is so exciting.
It was crazy.
I stop you, but I just have to say that is super, super exciting. At age 15, like you must have been, like in heaven.
Yes, I was in that time because, it is that story that you only watch in the movies, that someone gets discovered and then it's you, right? It's like, I can't believe I'm here. But on the flip side, I don't tell this story very much, but I was always fighting my weight because I was never thin enough. So, I remember when the wardrobe lady was doing my wardrobe, and she was like, you're going to have to lose 10 pounds before we start shooting. And I was like,
wow.
Oh. So, it's exciting. And at the same time, is always making you feel the very things that you feel the most already, which was, I already felt insecure. My parents had been divorced. I had a lot of, issues. I loved acting, but at the same time, I had a lot of deep rooted unworthiness, because I wasn't feeling loved, a single depressed mother, father I only saw on Saturday. So it looked great and it was exciting, but also there were, that deep rooted pain was there and only got magnified now that I was going to be on screen. So I like to share both sides. So I did the movie. It was exciting. I did that, like the Cambridge diet, which was like the first Slim Fast diet. I lost weight. I was on the movie. I came back. I was so excited to come back to my high school, I'm a big star now. And then I started writing myself notes, like Tasia's auditioning, and I signed my mother's name because I was like, oh, I'm going to be an actress now. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It was until I missed my 16th birthday party because it was a surprise birthday party that my girlfriend was supposed to take me to, but I didn't show up for school. And so that was a painful, like, wow, maybe you should be in school more often. So, so anyway, I ended up on a soap opera at the end of 11th grade called All My Children. And I finished school early. I did that for 3 years, which was, again, looked amazing on paper. I was nominated for an Emmy because I cried really well, but that was also because I was kind of messed up. So I was very emotionally available to those tears.
Wow.
And
I always wondered, actually, sorry to stopping you, always wondered how can actors or actresses can cry, like on demand, like how, like, what do you do? How do you think about something horrible happening, or what is it that makes you cry?
Well, you know, it's interesting because for me, it was, yes, I could pull from my own life and my own, you know, it's hard on demand, but what, you know, the actress draws or actor draws upon a similar situation that they can relate to. For me, I was playing a very insecure, needy teenager on the soap opera who was rejected by the guys that she was in. This was my life. I had this a lot. I was like the boy who didn't like me, you know, so it was very easy for me to, so, but one day it's like I opened up my script and it was like something so close to my own life. I was like, are someone watching me? So yeah, you really draw from your own life, but it's like any skill set. As an actor, we're behaviorists. We're studying people all the time. We're getting deep into our emotions. That's the practice. We practice these skill sets. If I was practicing typing or accounting or things that involve my head more, I might not have access to my emotions as much. But the actor, that's our skill set that we're learning to have access and to feel those emotions and then to convey those emotions. So I think that's probably one of the reasons people don't realize why it's easy for actors to, because we practice that particular muscle more than we practice the left side of the logical. We're studying, like, what does that person mean and what are they saying and how am I feeling and what, you know, and how can I convey it? So that's probably why we're so good. And a lot of us are dysfunctional because we're desperate for attention, and that's why we become actors.
Wow, is that true?
Yes, that's why I call myself a recovering actor, because, you know, you're high and then you're low. You're high and then you're low. So it really messes with your psyche.
I think that's just life in general. You know, you have good days, you have bad days, even in business or in life. You know, you
yes,
you're on top of the world, everything is working out, and the next day is just almost everything.
It's true. That is true. But unlike your work, like a report or something you handed in, you're the one being rejected.
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
It's your soul. You're not. I always say, you know, as an actress, I was never tall enough or thin enough or blonde enough or pretty enough or smart enough or sex. I was always being told, you're a great actress, but you didn't get the job for A, B. Right. There's always a but. So that's led me to this wonderful opportunity to use my skill and my talent to do voiceovers, which my mother, again, suggested maybe 10 years into acting that I should do. And I didn't know that this voice acting, what this was. And then I found out, and I had to study that because it was a different craft, part of it. But I started doing it and realized, wow, I am now liberated from the part that's the bud. It was just like my talent and my voice and my abilities. And I started booking job after job after job.
Beautiful.
It was. And I started starting to like myself more because I wasn't being told, you're not enough of this, this, and this. And then 6 years into it, my therapist mentioned one day that my mental health was going up with the amount of voiceovers I was doing. And I said, you know, maybe there's something to this. And I decided to bookend my on-camera career with another soap opera. I did that for 12 weeks. I didn't want to do that anymore. So I called up my agent. I said, I'm done. I made a decision that I was going to devote myself completely to this craft of voice acting and telling these stories with my beautiful voice. And I've never looked back. And that was 25 years ago. And it's been my passion ever since to tell these stories, and now to teach actors first how to tell these stories, and then realize that I could apply the same principles that have made me such a good storyteller to teach people that aren't actors and singers and dancers and in the arts how to tell their stories, how to give great voice. And so that's
so beautiful. Like I have goosebumps running down my arms, my legs, and everything. It's just almost like, you know, you found that passion that so many people are looking for. You just found it in voiceover acting, right? I can see even your face kind of lights up when you're talking about it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel very lucky. My motto is, and so many people, you know, have that desire. I love what I do, and I do what I love. And
Oh,
that's a
love
gift for many
it.
of us, right? I mean, that's how you are. I see you as a coach. You know, you were born to be a coach, right? You light up, you light the room up, but so many people are looking to follow their bliss, and they're not in the professions that light up their souls. And you know, we die a little bit every day when we're not doing what our heart is called to do, when we're doing only what we have to do in order to survive and you know, put food on the table. It's so important, but at the same time, when we're lucky enough to find what we love to do and can do it and make money and be abundant in it, it's a gift.
It
And I
is.
appreciate it all the time.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you don't mind me, I'm going to go back a little bit. And, you know, you mentioned that you had this feeling of, you know, not being enough or not being too skinny or blonde or whatever the thoughts were going, like these negative beliefs that a lot of people have.
Yes.
What did you do? What has helped you overcome those beliefs?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I teach a lot about that now, how we, you know, how we can uncover. And I learned first through therapy. My father, God bless him, he had been to therapy in the 60s, way early, like when it was that Freudian kind of therapy. And he was an actor, so he was a behaviorist, so he was always studying feelings. And so he saw that I was in trouble. You know, even when I started working as a teenager, I went to live with him in my teens, and he said, you need to get a therapist because I'm worried about you. Because I had an eating disorder. I was really in trouble. I was in pain. And so he sent me to therapy, and I really started analyzing like why I do the things I do as opposed to just doing them, right? It's one of those things that we don't, many of us don't examine our lives. We just are on autopilot, right? And then therapy or acting, it really makes you stop and look at your own behavior and start analyzing the whys. And so very young, I got a chance to start tapping into my emotions, understanding, and starting this process of rewiring some of the things so I could start and, you know, rewriting the voices in my head and the words in my head. And I journeyed ever since, back, you know, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward. I started finding out about Brian Tracy and, you know, the psychology of achievement. I started becoming a student of behavior, Anthony Robbins, you know, all through my 20s, I was right, all the great ones, I started seeking those out. And when I tapped into that, combined with the therapy and going to the 12-step program for Overeaters Anonymous, you know, all the stuff that made me really keep examining, I got better and more aware. And then the last 10 years, again, once I became a voiceover artist, especially, and I released myself again from the rejection of myself, I could really take flight in becoming more self-loving and more self-affirming, understanding that whatever we say after I am or I have consistently and with conviction tells our stories. I mean, tells our future. So I really became aware that words have power, and what are the words I'm saying to myself? And does it serve my roles? Does it serve me? And this really helped me change. And then I became like an affirmationist.
I love it.
I became an affirmationist because I got a chance to make an affirmation meditation app, and it really concretized the science behind it. So it's been a journey, but I really understand, and I love to teach this, that you know, our thoughts are not, we are not our thoughts. We have thoughts.
Our thoughts. Yeah.
And this is a hard drive is like our brain is like, and it's usually wired from 0 to 7 years old. And we're all running on old, you know, programs that need software updates. and that's how I look at it, that, you know, how I speak to myself is constantly a software. We talk about thoughts a lot, but I like to take it to the level that it's not just a thought, override it with how we speak to ourselves.
Right. Right. And I completely agree with you. And, you know, I went through similar things in my life too. I was looking for, you know, outside, like someone else love me, you know, or something else has to happen in order for me to be loved or something like that. Right. So, you know, obviously it shows that when you became a voiceover artist, that's when kind of your life has changed, that it's just shifted to be you become happier and more loving towards yourself. So do you remember the moment when you start loving yourself fully?
Oh, it's like, I don't know if there's one particular moment. It's sometimes, I think, maybe for you, I think it's those moments where we catch ourselves and we realize, gosh, when that used to happen, I used to treat myself like A, B, and C, and I don't do that anymore. I think it's more of those realizations. And by the way, I still have my moments, right? I mean, I can have a scary or painful or critical thought, but the difference now is that I don't spin it out of control and go into the depth of it, and for 3 or 4 days go down that rabbit hole. What I do is recognize, like, oh, I'm the witness now. I recognize I'm having a scary thought. And then I have these tools that allow me to start thinking, is this true? Or, what would be a kind moment to have right now? Or can I bring myself to this present moment and not be in the past or in the future? So, I want to be very clear that even though I've come so far, I'm still very human, and I still have my fears, and especially when the world is being so challenged right now and permeates us. And I feel like, probably along with you, I'm very empathic. So if I turn on the news first thing in the morning, it's like, I'm going downhill, right? I'm going downhill. It's like, I have to shut it out. So I think it's become more of a reflection as life goes on, like to think back, wow, I was so different before. So I think it's the micro changes that one day you realize, wow, I don't suffer the way I used to anymore. And I know that that's something that I can continue to journey and become better at. How about you? Did you have a moment?
Yes. As you say, it was like a progressive realization kind of thing, right? Like I lost myself along the way, like about 5-6 years ago. My marriage was falling apart, and I turned to alcohol, and I don't know. It's a lot of things happened. Full-time jobs, 2 kids, rushing to schools, and I just lost myself in the process of looking for my dream life, which is, being married, having kids, and having the 2-car garage house and all that stuff.
The white picket fence, the perfect
right? And all that stuff, right? So yeah, I did have to reach out to a therapist, same like you. I had a mindfulness coach, and she taught me about affirmations. She taught me about being kind to myself and giving the love to myself and not asking from someone else. So yeah, definitely I went through that journey about 4 years ago or so. So what I want to ask you is, so if someone is going through similar things right now, like they don't, some people don't understand how affirmations work. Like they see that people talking about it, but they're not willing to kind of repeat it to themselves day after day after day, which is kind of like the process for your mind to be
rewired.
Sentence, right? So what would you suggest to someone like that who is totally new to affirmations, totally new to like, I can control my thinking, like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So what would their first step be?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great question. Well, I happen to be very lucky that I fell into the opportunity to co-found an affirmation meditation app called Haven. It's completely free. It is designed with different masteries, 7 days of each one, confidence for 7 days, health for 7 days. They're 10-minute guided meditations. And the idea of allowing somebody else to help you get comfortable, I'll break it down to that. Learning to do affirmations, I use the metaphor that it's learning to speak the language of self-love.
Beautiful.
That is a very foreign language for most people. So if it's a foreign language, if it's French, if it's Hungarian, it's very uncomfortable to say kind things to yourself, right? Same thing. It's like for me to say, I'm going to learn Hungarian tomorrow, I would be very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
I can help you.
I know you can. And you're good. So the idea that if you think of the affirmations, and by the way, an affirmation technically is not necessarily a positive present statement. That's what I thought it was. It's whatever we affirm over and over again is the affirmation. You can have a negative affirmation, which many people live by, more than the positive, because that's our default, right? Those are the old programs. So we must be conscious of using the present positive. But if we think of it as a language, then we can say, oh yeah, I'm going to be uncomfortable saying this. And maybe I can have a tool like this affirmation meditation app to help me start getting comfortable. So I can actually, instead of offering just a general, I'd love to offer my meditation app so that I can be in your voice, you're in your head, soothing you with a lovely, guided meditation each day to get comfortable with this concept of I am beautiful, I am loving, I am kind. And in a state of alpha, in that nice relaxed state, it's much easier to download the information and get to that hardwire to update it than if we just say, I love myself, I believe in myself. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm a beautiful. No, you're not. No, you're not.
I remember that. Exactly like that.
Right.
No, you're beautiful. Oh, damn it.
Right.
No, I'm not.
Right. Our first reaction, especially if this is no, that's not true. So to get into a nice mindful meditative state is wonderful. There's many ways to do that. But when you're in a guided meditation and you can get in that nice relaxed, you can start thinking, okay, I feel very awkward doing this, but I'm willing to try. And it's like anything. If you do it 10 minutes each day, like a week from now, it won't be so awkward. Just like you're learning a language. And a month from now, it won't be so awkward. And a year from now, you might be fluent in this language. And it's something that, it's not like an overnight thing, but it's the understanding that it's not airy-fairy. There's science behind it. And it's something that, once you have permission, so many people just need permission. They just need to know it's not only is it okay to say loving things to yourself, it benefits everybody else. It's not arrogant and it's not cocky. It's important to do it for yourself. And then everybody, all the people in your life and all the goals that you have and all the desires that you want to achieve, you're going to get there so much faster by doing it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I love it. And I am all for affirmations. And I have you are at Rick's game on my computer. I hope it's not going to be recorded.
I'm okay. Yeah, you froze for just a second, but are we good?
Yeah, it says you're at risk. I don't know. It just popped up on my computer. Sometimes it happens. It's okay. You know what? What a virtual event if there is no technical hiccups, then you are like a pro, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit to your story. So you are now doing voiceover acting, right? You're getting an Emmy Award for that as well, right?
Yes, I was lucky. I was blessed enough to receive an Emmy. I thought I had to give that up when I left acting, and the universe is kind because I gave my voice. I donated my voice for 2 years to this wonderful organization called the Wildlife Animal Sanctuary for their PSA campaign to raise awareness for these wild animals that are, a lot of times mistreated as pets. And so they have this sanctuary, and I fell in love with them, and I said, sure, whatever you need. And they put their campaign into the Emmys that they have called the Heartland Emmys, and they won and I won. And it was just a beautiful gift of, again, the gift of giving great voice, to be able to move, touch, and impact. It was my passion to give it. And then the universe received it and gave it back to me tenfold. So that was a blessing.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so when did you decide to become a coach? Is it something new, or have you been coaching for a while now?
It's relatively new in the last 2 years. It's like something that I started. I was teaching voiceover artists the same idea of the teaching that I do. And I had this desire to do a TEDx talk to teach this beautiful art of confident verbal communication, especially because I play some really cool roles as as Poison Ivy in the Arkham games and all these fun. So I thought it would be wonderful to go to college kids and get them excited as I noticed, digital communication taking over our verbal communication skills in the last 7 years, more and more and more. And I have teenagers. And so I started realizing, this is not just like teaching not to do speak up, the technical parts of what it means to use your voice as well, but the emotional connection was being lost. And so I had this desire to share it in a TEDx talk, and it took me 7 years from the time I said I wanted to do a TEDx talk to actually do it. But that was kind of the launching pad, that I have this mission. I want to teach this art of confident verbal communication, but I don't want to just do it for, there's enough voiceover coaches. I mean, there's a lot, you know, I know I have something to offer, but I felt this need to share that all of us can use more confidence in our verbal communication, and especially those of us that don't love our voices, don't feel confident in our abilities. And I wanted to make this a holistic aspect, not just the technical, but again,
right.
It's this, it all starts with how we speak to ourselves, and then how we speak in our professional roles, and then how we speak in our personal lives. And so I made this a triumvirate of passion to teach, you know, anybody from every walk of life who wants to be more powerful, more persuasive, and more confident, and also feel that confidence from the inside. So it's kind of in an evolution, and it continues on as I grow deeper in it, that I have this mission to do it, and I'm finding my way with it. It's I have personal clients I'm working with. I'm working on my first 30-day challenge to give great voice that I'm going to be launching November 2nd. So it's a new, exciting time and overwhelming time, but I really know that I'm onto something. People are really responding, and it's just something that I can't wait to share more with people.
It sounds extremely exciting. I love it. I love it so much. And I wanted to actually ask you about the TEDx talk. You mentioned it took about 7 years to actually get to do the talk. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I've been thinking about doing something like that as well. It just popped up about maybe a year ago or so. So I'm into it, planning it in a year.
Yeah,
So is it gonna take me 6 more years, or?
It might not. I was, you know, it's 2 steps back, 1 step forward. The only reason I know it was 7 years is because you know, I love to manifest, and I had an LA Times article that said anybody can give a great TED talk. I crossed out anybody and I put Tasia Valneza. I put it on my desk, right? I looked at it. I put it away because we moved. I took it out of my desk in my new house 2 years ago. I put it back on my desk, and then I finally, you know, submitted for one. I got the call. They invited me to do it, and I ran to my desk to look down at it, and I saw the date, and it was 2013. I was like, oh my goodness!
That is awesome.
I would have said it was 2 years, but it was 7 years. But it just goes to show you, you know, you put the intention out, you don't give up. Maybe it's only going to be 1 year for you. Maybe it's going to be 2 years for you. For me, it took that long, but I'm so grateful that it took that long, because I had so much more meaningful things to say 7 years later. It wouldn't have been the same talk. So I'm glad that the universe knew better than I did.
Yeah, and I'm into the universe as well. So you're saying you write it down, and in 2013 you're going to be on TEDx talk, and on 2013 you were?
No, I wrote it down that I wanted from the LA Times. It took me to 2020 to actually make it happen.
Okay.
But I looked back at the article, the LA Times article, the Los Angeles Times, and I saw that the original article was from 2013.
I see.
So that's why I looked down at the date, and I was like, oh my goodness, I held on to this newspaper for 7 years. So it was
beautiful.
But it's a wonderful thing, and I encourage you to seek out and fulfill your passion to do it. Nowadays, there's some much better help. Wonderful coaches out there. I know Corey Poirier is an incredible TEDx coach who helped me understand the process, and so I can totally recommend somebody. But if people have things to say, TEDx is a wonderful platform to share it. It's a wonderful way to share it, and of course there's new platforms too, but go for it. I mean, you have something to say.
Yeah, so I'm conquering my fear, step by step. I have webinars, and now I have interviews. So I'm getting really, easy going on my talks now. I am not that I always get nervous, but I'm not that nervous as before. So the next step for me is public speaking. But because of COVID-19, it's no public speaking opportunities. There's none, right? So I'm enjoying this virtual events, and it's comfort of your home. It's a little bit more comfortable to talk to many people, even on webinars. Even if there are 10, 15 people there, it's easier because you're in your home. It's a little bit more comfortable than standing on the stage. I don't know, because I haven't been on the stage. So, but I would say that is something that I still have to conquer, to start, stand on the stage and talk in front of I don't know how many people.
It's something that, but look at you. I mean, you look at you now. I mean, I could look at you and say, you're amazing. You're so comfortable. You have your own show. You're putting it out there. It's just one more step. We don't get confident ahead of time. You have to do stuff and be uncomfortable.
True.
then you gain the confidence. That's another one of those like mind blows that when I learned that, it makes all the sense in the world. Confidence, you can gain a certain amount of confidence again with your inner speak. Like if you say to yourself, I am going to rock a TED Talk, or I believe in myself, I have the ability to do it. You're going to be a lot more confident when you get there than I'm an imposter. If they only know me, I'm going to be horrible. Okay, showtime, right? I mean, again, but you're preparing now for it just by this virtual stage. I prepared for it. I hadn't been on a stage when I did my TEDx talk for years because I've been doing voiceover, so it was still scary for me. I was very nervous, but I did my inner self speak, and I got on there, and first minute or two, I was more nervous than I was at the last minute or two, but you just go for it. You just do it. It's like you feel afraid and do it anyway, but be your own confidence coach. Be the coach that says you can do this, you have it, you're amazing, and not, the negative, fearful, don't deserve, unworthy coach. That's not going to support your role. So that's how I talk about, I give great voice, and we haven't even discussed it. I utilize the skills of a voiceover actor and help people to become the voiceover actor in their own lives, so they can play their professional and personal roles more successfully through the lens of a voiceover actor. So it's really, I help people gain that confidence so they can go and play those roles of the TEDx speaker or the podcaster, and feel more confident, or the wife or the husband or the lawyer. We have multiple roles. So that's what I like to teach, is this notion of a novel way to approach more confident verbal communication.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us. I could probably spend a whole afternoon with you, because it's so easy to talk to and you have so much to share. So you mentioned the challenge is coming up for you in November, a 30-day challenge. Maybe you want to share a little bit more.
I'd love to, because this is my first official, I've been working towards it, and somebody presented me with the opportunity to kind of take all my passion and put it into this kind of micro learning 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a community built in. And I'm so passionate. I want as many people to come join. I'm only making it $99 for the month, because I'm not it's not about the money for me. Although, it's abundance is wonderful. I want to make it so that nobody can say I can't afford it, because everyone can afford $99. Just there's a way. There's a way to do it, but it's going to be literally learning this process of how to give great voice over the month in a warm environment, in a community. And I'm just passionate about having people join me in this. I'm going to be doing it with them and coaching them along the way. And so it's my first foray in kind of taking it into this next step of making a formal group, as opposed to just a webinar or a one-off. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be, right now I'm having people go to my website to give me their emails, and then I'm going to, send out the information a week before it starts. But it's November 2nd, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be beautiful, and people are going to feel all the things that we're talking about now. It's going to be broken down, because it's too much information to share, even in one talk.
Yeah.
But through the process of all these components, people are going to have much more confidence on the end of those 30 days that they did when they started.
Beautiful. And confidence is key to success, right?
Yes, the inner and the outer, but yes, their voices, again, our metaphorical voices deserve to be heard, and our real voices deserve to be heard. And I think we can tune our voices and make the more beautiful instruments to support and land our message in the way we intend them. We just have to be intentional about it. And with easy steps, we can change how we communicate and really make an impact in the world. Beautiful,
beautiful. Thank you so much, Tasia, right? Tasia.
Emmy, yes.
I have to, because remember I said Tasia, and I'm getting better now pronouncing your name, so I'm more proud of myself. Okay, so before we go and finish our beautiful interview, where can people find you? Where can people find out a little bit more about what you do, and maybe about your challenge?
Yes, private coaching or whatever. Yes, I'm on, well, of course, we met through LinkedIn, so they can always find me on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm also at TasiaValneza.com if they want to see the voiceover side that leads into Give Great Voice. And I'm also at Give Great Voice. So I have the two websites. I'm kind of trying to figure out, again, how to marry the two, but right now they're there. But, you know, any of the social media platforms, they can find me, or just email me at TasiaValneza.com. And I'd be happy to share more of how I can support them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm super, super happy that you really loved everything that you have to share. And, you know, I'm an affirmation girl, and thoughts and thoughts create things and all that stuff. So I'm super into everything that you're into.
And I'm into everything you're into, because you're a positive force of nature, and I love your energy. And again, you're a perfect example of how you transformed yourself, and how you've taken your struggles and how you learned this, and now how you're sharing it and teaching it. So I think a lot of the times when we've gone through the struggles, you know, then we really can come from a place of empathy versus sympathy, and it connects us. So I'm glad for the struggles that I had, and I'm sure you are too, because you wouldn't be where you are now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now looking back, it's a blessing. It's, you know, when you're going through it, it's not so much, but
no.
now looking back, and the thing is, if you really, you know, believe that this is enough, I just can't do this anymore, I need to change, because mostly it depends on ourselves if our life is changing or not, then you can have a beautiful life. Just
yes.
A little bit.
Right. And then we can get support. That's the thing, is you don't have to do it alone. That's the beautiful thing about coaches like you and me and all the ones that are really there. You can be carried along and supported, so that you're not trying to do it all on your own. Okay.
All right, let's say bye to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Episode number 3. Don't know who is my next guest yet, but we'll be coming back in 2 weeks' time again, same time Friday, and I will see you guys then.
Bye.